What if I told you that one of the greatest athletes in history once lived in a car with his mother? What if I told you that this same person was told he wasn't good enough, faced countless rejections, and carried the weight of an entire city's dreams on his shoulders? Today, we're diving into the extraordinary story of LeBron James, not just the basketball legend, but the man who transformed struggle into strength, adversity into advantage, and doubt into determination. If you're facing challenges right now, if you feel like giving up, this story is for you. Because LeBron's journey proves that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. LeBron Raymond James was born on the 30th of December, 1984 in Akron, Ohio. But his story doesn't begin with privilege or perfect conditions. It begins with a 16-year-old single mother named Gloria James fighting to survive. Picture this: a young boy moving from apartment to apartment, sometimes sleeping in friends' cars, never knowing where his next meal would come from. By the time LeBron turned 10, he and his mother had moved 12 times, 12 different homes in 10 years. Gloria worked multiple jobs, anything she could find, but it was never enough. There were nights when young LeBron went to bed hungry. There were mornings when he didn't know if he'd have a roof over his head by evening. Most kids would be broken by this instability. Most would lose hope. But LeBron? He found his escape on the basketball court. When everything else in his life was uncertain, basketball was constant. When he felt powerless everywhere else on that court, he had control. Every dribble, every shot, every move was his choice. But here's the thing about LeBron that separated him from everyone else. He didn't just use basketball to escape his problems. He used his problems to fuel his basketball. At age 9, LeBron made a decision that would change everything. His youth football coach, Frank Walker, noticed that LeBron was missing too many practices and games because of his unstable living situation. So Frank made an offer: "Come live with us." For the first time in his life, LeBron experienced stability. He had his own bed, regular meals, and a routine. But more importantly, he learned something crucial: that someone believed in him enough to invest in his future. This is where LeBron's mindset began to shift. He realized that his circumstances didn't define his potential. He understood that every champion starts somewhere, and most start from the bottom. Frank Walker didn't just give LeBron a home, he gave him a vision. He showed him that discipline, structure, and hard work could create opportunities that didn't exist before. LeBron began to see his struggles differently. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he started asking, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he started feeling grateful for his strength. He realized that every night he went to bed hungry made him hungrier for success. Every time he had to move made him more adaptable. Every challenge made him more resilient. But success didn't come without skeptics. As LeBron's talent became undeniable in high school, the criticism grew louder. He's too young. He's too hyped. He'll never live up to expectations. When LeBron made the unprecedented decision to go straight from high school to the NBA, the doubters multiplied. Sports analysts questioned if an 18-year-old could handle the pressure. Critics said he was making a mistake. Then came 2003. LeBron was drafted first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers, his hometown team. The pressure was immense. An entire city that hadn't won a major sports championship in decades was looking to this teenager as their savior. And for years, it seemed like the critics might be right. LeBron faced playoff disappointments, crushing defeats, and constant comparison to Michael Jordan. In 2007, his Cavaliers were swept in the NBA Finals. The headlines were brutal: "Not clutch enough, can't win the big one, will never be great." But here's what separated LeBron from everyone else. He used every criticism as fuel. Every doubt became motivation. Every failure became a lesson. Instead of avoiding the pressure, he embraced it. Instead of running from expectations, he raised them higher. In 2010, LeBron made the decision, leaving Cleveland to join the Miami Heat. The backlash was unprecedented. His hometown felt betrayed. he was burned in effigy. He became one of the most hated athletes in America overnight. Most people would crumble under that weight. The entire narrative was that LeBron was weak, that he couldn't win on his own, that he took the easy way out. But LeBron had learned something crucial from his childhood struggles. Sometimes you have to make difficult decisions for your growth, even when others don't understand. In Miami, he faced a new kind of pressure. In his first finals appearance with the Heat, they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. The criticism reached a fever pitch. He chokes in big moments. He'll never be a champion. That loss devastated LeBron. But instead of making excuses, he did something remarkable. He took full responsibility. He looked in the mirror and asked himself the hardest question: what do I need to change? He spent that entire summer transforming his game, his mentality, his approach. He developed a post-up game. He improved his clutch shooting. He became a student of his own weaknesses. The next year, LeBron won his first championship, then another. The doubters became believers. But LeBron's greatest moment of perseverance was yet to come. In 2014, he made another difficult decision, returning to Cleveland. He came back to a team that hadn't won anything, to a city still hurt by his departure, with one mission: fulfill his promise to bring a championship home. The 2016 NBA Finals became the ultimate test. The Cleveland Cavaliers faced the Golden State Warriors, a team that had just set the record for most wins in a regular season. The Warriors went up 3-1 in the series. No team in NBA Finals history had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit. LeBron was 31 years old. This might be his last chance to bring Cleveland a title. The pressure was suffocating. The odds were impossible. But remember, this was the same kid who had overcome homelessness, who had turned criticism into motivation, who had learned that the greatest victories come after the hardest struggles. In Game 5, LeBron played like a man possessed. In Game 6, he delivered one of the greatest performances in finals history. And in Game 7, on the biggest stage, in the most pressure-packed moment, LeBron made the block, a chase-down block that saved the championship. When the final buzzer sounded, LeBron collapsed on the floor in tears. A grown man crying tears of joy, fulfillment, and relief. He had done it. He had brought a championship to Cleveland after 52 years. But LeBron's story isn't just about basketball. It's about what's possible when you refuse to let your circumstances define your future. Think about it. A kid who was homeless became a billionaire. A teenager who was doubted became a 4-time champion. A young man who was criticized for leaving became a hero for returning. LeBron didn't just overcome his struggles. He transformed them into his superpowers. His childhood instability taught him adaptability. His early criticism taught him resilience. His failures taught him how to succeed. Today, LeBron James isn't just one of the greatest athletes of all time. He's a businessman, a philanthropist, and an inspiration. He's opened schools for at-risk children in Akron. He's created opportunities for others who started where he started. But perhaps most importantly, he's proof that your beginning doesn't determine your ending. So if you're struggling right now, if you're facing doubt, if you feel like the odds are stacked against you, remember LeBron's story. Remember that champions aren't made in comfort zones. They're forged in struggle. They're shaped by adversity. They're defined not by how they fall, but by how they rise. Your current situation is not your final destination. Your struggles are not your story. They're your preparation. Like LeBron, you have a choice. You can let your circumstances defeat you, or you can use them to build you. You can listen to the doubters, or you can prove them wrong. You can give up when it gets hard, or you can push through when it matters most. The court is in front of you. The game is yours to play. The only question is, what will you choose to do with your shot? Remember, greatness isn't given, it's earned. One decision, one day, one moment at a time. Your comeback story starts now.
If this story inspired you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because every week we bring you real people who turned rock bottom into success.